Okay, so let's have a look at this wine. This is a Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc enjoys a cool to moderate climate, and this particular Sauvignon Blanc comes from Sancerre in the north of France. Have a think about whereabouts in the rest of the world you might also find Sauvignon Blanc growing successfully. Okay, now you've given that a bit of a thought, let's have a look at using the systematic approach to tasting to describe this wine. First of all, on the appearance, holding it at a 45-degree angle, you will notice that it has a very pale rim. Okay, the colour does not leach from the core into the rim, so we can describe this as a pale wine. I would also describe this as lemon. It's got a slight yellow tinge to it, which means it's lemon. It doesn't have that shiny character, so I wouldn't be going into gold. So pale lemon, I think, is a good option to describe this wine. Okay, giving the glass a swell. Okay, I think this is pronounced in intensity. It's quite aromatic, isn't it? That's typical for Sauvignon Blanc. You will notice that it has quite punchy and powerful aroma in the glass. The aroma characteristics, when again, think about these in terms of primary, secondary and tertiary. Primary characteristics are the fruit characteristics that come from the grape and that also come from the fermentation itself. Sauvignon Blanc is noted for its citrus notes, lemon, lime, grapefruit. It's also well known for its green fruit characters as well, so you could go for apple and gooseberry. I also think with this Sancerre that it has a slight sort of wet stone note to it as well, something that's described in your textbook as a typical characteristic for Sauvignon Blanc, and particularly for Sauvignon Blancs that come from Sancerre in northern France. Okay, let's taste it on the palate. Okay, this wine's dry. No residual sugar in here. High level of acidity though, hopefully your mouth really watered. No tannin. Alcohol medium, we're about 13 and a half, so we're medium on the alcohol, and which also leads us into a medium body. Body and alcohol often match, not always, but they often match. So I'd be looking at a medium body for this wine. Flavour intensity, much as the nose was, it's pronounced. There's lots going on in this particular glass. And the flavour characteristics, again, I would be looking at those citrus notes, lemon, grapefruit, some lime as well, green fruit, apple and gooseberry. There is a trace of floral characteristic in here as well. There's a little bit of elderflower, which again is a classic Sauvignon Blanc characteristic and typical of Sancerre. The other thing that I think we can add in here at this stage as well is cut grass. Sometimes I describe this as nettle as well, or you'll hear other tasters describe this as nettle, but there's a definite sort of herbaceous character here, grass or nettle, and you've still got that whetstone note as well. The finish is long. No, I'm going to go medium on the finish. It's not ridiculously long, so I think we're going to go for medium. All of that information leads us to suggest that this wine is very good. It's pronounced in intensity. It's got complexity. We covered, what, 4 or 5 different clusters? Citrus, green fruit, florals, herbaceousness and minerality. So we were on 5 different clusters there, so we've got lots of complexity in our wine. Despite the fact that there's no oak and no secondary characteristics, we've still got a lot of complexity in our wine. It was beautifully balanced as well. You should have that acidity was high, but it wasn't overpowering because it was supported by the fruit concentration that was in there as well. So I think we've got a very good wine in front of us. A little bit longer, and I think we could have said that it was outstanding. Perhaps a trace of sort of extra complexity, maybe from some lees aging, a little bit of extra textural experience on there would have taken us into the outstanding category. That's actually a good way to look at your conclusion as well. Think about what could have been made better about the wine and perhaps bring that into your write-up Don't just say what was good about the wine, but say what could be better about the wine as well. And it'll get you thinking, is this wine free of criticism, or is there something else that could be added to this particular wine? So that's the Sauvignon Blanc. Go away and try some more. Try one from Marlborough, New Zealand. Try one from where you've got Puy Fumé as well. California makes some interesting Sauvignon Blanc. South Africa does too. So there are lots of options for Sauvignon Blanc around the world. So do have a look at some other styles of Sauvignon Blanc. Build up that database of great varieties as you taste widely and consistently, of course, using the systematic approach to tasting.